Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge Podcast. My name is Josh. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're talking about a couple of Reddit threads of some family vlogging children. We're also going to go through an article of a teenager who's using their scouting badge or whatever to combat child exploitation and family vlogging online. Really cool, interesting topic. I've got a couple of these threads waiting to go for a video. Today is a perfect day for that, so let's go. Before we get started, everybody, head over to my Teespring store. Pick yourself up some merch. There's some t-shirts and stuff and other things, especially the King Sam merch, the Chachi merch. You're Not My Real Dad, World's Okayest Dad. Lots of really cool stuff over there. I hate raisins because if you like raisins, I don't think we can be friends. That's just, it is what it is. Also, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, head over to my Patreon, or join this channel for exclusive benefits like early videos and things like that. All right, it's out of the way. I've seen these threads on Reddit. I live on Reddit. I love Reddit a lot, okay? I spend a ton of time. One of my favorite Reddit threads, or one of my favorite Reddits is Desired Path, and it just shows people making their own paths. It's pretty cool. I'm a huge nerd, I know. But one of the ones that came up recently was, the post was deleted by a dad, and it was posted 4 months ago, since been deleted, the username's been deleted, but the thread's been locked, so you get to see it. So this is one of my favorite threads called Am I the Asshole? And this one's called Am I the Asshole for Deleting My Newborn Son's Instagram? I think I did cover this at one point. My wife, 30, and I, 33, are what they call low profile when it comes to social media. We both have accounts on most of the most famous platforms, but we post very little. I personally always had a stupid prejudice about people who record every step of their life, but I respect it. I don't spew hate on anyone for that reason or any other. Recently, my wife and I were born a baby. During pregnancy, we agreed that it was ridiculous to post several photos a day of the child to create exclusive social media networks for this. Until the child was born, we had very similar values about children's exposure on the internet. To exemplify, when she was pregnant, Clara only posted 2 pictures of her dilated belly. When Daniel was born, Clara posted several pictures of him, which annoyed me, but I didn't say anything. I was a mother who had just given birth, so I considered it normal behavior. But that didn't stop as the weeks passed, and I had to complain. Clara was very upset, said that she loved him very much, and he was the most beautiful child she had ever seen. I just rolled my eyes. I mean, yes, our kids are the most beautiful kids we've ever seen. Doesn't mean you have to post them on the internet, everybody. When our baby was 1 month old, Clara announced that Daniel had an Instagram profile. I exploded and said I don't agree with any of this and asked her to delete it. She said I was being totally unreasonable and the child was hers, so she would do what she wanted. Except it's both of yours. I said the child is also mine, and I didn't want so much exposure. We fought, and she went to her mother's house. I also went to my mother-in-law's house and slept in the living room. So you guys have this empty house. Okay, it's weird. I wasn't going to miss my son's moments because of a stupid... Oh, sorry, he went to the mother-in-law's house too. I wasn't going to miss any of my son's moments because of a stupid fight. She got even more annoyed when we went back to our house, but she refused to talk beyond the essentials to me. Because this guy didn't want his kid on Instagram? Unbelievable. A month passed and Clara assured me that she deleted the Instagram, but that she would continue to post a lower frequency on her own profile. I agreed to this because it was the best middle ground possible. I came across my wife with 20,000 followers, and before I only had 1K. I thought this was bizarre. I saw her transforming too. It wasn't just pictures and videos of Daniel, she was documenting her routine. I'm not a controlling person, and I'm not going to say what my wife can and can't do with her own image. The big problem is that I found out she lied to me. I was blocked from my own son's Instagram to think it was deleted. When I found out, I took the cell phone from my wife's hand and locked myself in my bathroom. I deleted the profile of almost 30,000 of Daniel's followers while listening to Clara screaming outside. Oh my gosh! Nothing happened but silence. She won't talk to me. Her mother claims that Clara will develop postnatal depression after the stress. I think this is all terribly futile, and I start to think I'm a bit of an a-hole for caring so much about it. But at the same time, I don't want that kind of life for my son. I don't want Daniel's life living for the sake of being well on camera. I just want him to have a normal childhood. Am I the asshole? Well, no, you're not. And I think you're going to see a lot more of this. I think dads need to understand the social media. I think dads don't really understand. I think you see a lot of these family vloggers and the women and mommy influencers and stuff. The dad might be slightly in the picture here and there, but likely has no idea. I remember reaching out to Liliana Ketchman's dad and saying, look at these comments on your daughter's profile. He had no idea. Still didn't remove them, but didn't know. Okay? A lot of these dads are just passing things inside of these vlogs. Some of them are not. Some of them are as involved. But if the dad doesn't want the kid on the internet because of privacy, honor it. If the mom doesn't want the kid on the internet for privacy reasons, honor it. Both parents should be consenting to this, and they were not in this case. So no, you're not the a-hole. But let's see what some of the comments are. How creepy to give the world access to your child for followers. Yep. I think people are starting to really wake up to this. Claire is the bigger asshole. There's no such thing as her child. She can do whatever she wants. True. She lied. Yeah, this is not going to end well. If the woman cares more about her child's social media profile than, harmony in the household with the dad and the decisions that they make together, that is not a marriage that's going to last. And that's just going to be bad for the kid in the end. She cares more about the fame and popularity she's getting from her children than anything else. Because all these family vloggers that do this, they're not doing it for the sake of their children. They're not doing it because what do the kids care? The kids don't care. If you ever see a child's profile on Instagram, it's because the parent wants to get famous. The child doesn't know, can't give consent. The end. Those are narcissistic D-bags who do that, and they should be canceled, and they should be removed from the platform. Any child under the age of 13 on any platform should be removed from the platforms. I don't care if it says account ran by mom or account ran by parents. I don't care. That is not following the rules of Instagram. And I cannot believe just by posting that, they can get around that. It obviously means that the social media platforms don't give two shits about their own terms of service. Okay? Elon, buy these platforms, please. Then there's this one. Am I the asshole for deleting my parents' family vloggers' YouTube videos because of wanted privacy? I'm 17, and after the birth of my younger siblings, 5 and 3 years old now, my parents got very into family vlogging. I thought it was fun at first. What preteen girl doesn't want to be famous? But getting older, it seems pretty messed up. Like, I want to get to college, I want to get a job, and how is that going to work when Googling my name brings up dumb shit like slime, pranking, Among Us, whatever dumb fad little kids are into? Right? That's the parents making these videos with the kids because it makes millions of dollars. I told my parents about not wanting this stuff out there now that I'm almost an adult and feeling mad they started the channel when I was a child and didn't have the maturity to make an adult decision. Are you listening? This is a teenager who's 17, turning 18, who says, I did not give you permission. Okay? Changing their mind. Even if they did give their consent, like a lot of family vloggers say, they change their mind, they take away the consent. That's how that works. You guys know how that works, right? If I give you consent at one point and then later down the road remove that consent is no longer there. It's no longer valid. The same goes with the things I teach my boys and my daughter. Consent has to be ongoing. It's not just one time you say and then it's good forever. It's ongoing. So that's what's going on here. A lot of these family vloggers, and we talked about this with Trisha Paytas video, and these OnlyFans moms who are saying, I don't really care what you have to say. These kids are not giving consent to being put out there like that. Okay? The parents don't give a shit. They agreed to phase my involvement in the videos out, but didn't want to remove the existing videos because it was bad for views if old videos that are doing well with the algorithm and are already being recommended are gone. It's true. It kills your view count. It brings down your algorithm score. So that's why if you see a vlogger deleting hundreds of millions of views, it's really bad for them. It's the same way if you see an Instagrammer who's got tons of followers limit their posts and who can comment and everything else, that's really bad for them. I got really frustrated and stressed because I'm starting my senior year of high school soon, and it's going to be a time to apply for college, and I want to have everything about me wiped from the internet. Not going to happen, girl. I'm really sorry. Anyway, I kept having an argument with my parents about the older videos, and we kept on butting heads and never agreeing. As soon as your parents say that they're not going to remove old videos as you've taken away your consent, that's dangerous. You can sue your parents for that, and you should. I think you should have a loving relationship with your parents and try to come to a middle ground. But if your parents are refusing to adhere to your consent, now that you are cognizant of that consent, they're wrong. And I guarantee you, family vloggers all over the world do this. They say, oh, we get consent. But what happens later when they want it gone? You're going to take it down? Wife's Life, you're going to take the bra sizing ones down? You're going to do that? The shaving legs one, 8 passengers, you can take that shit down? I got so frustrated that one night after everyone had gone to bed, I took my mom's iPad and deleted all the videos off YouTube that I was in or mentioned in. Oh, snap. Good for you, girl. I also went on my own laptop and Googled my name, and every result, there weren't so many, my family's channel was relatively small, and either reported the post mentioning me to moderators, like on Reddit and forums, asking if it could be taken down. For some articles, I emailed the authors asking if they would remove my name. Not everything ended up removed, but a lot did. I went from having hours and hours of video and a larger number of mentions to much fewer. Good for you. Very smart kid. And again, this is going to cost our kids millions in the future when they want to do this. If they want to get rid of this stuff, there's going to be whole firms created for billions of dollars to give our kids back the privacy that we stole from them. My parents were furious when they noticed. They both said I was impacting the family's income a lot, and also I had deleted family memories that couldn't be recovered since some of the videos existed only on YouTube. There's no backup. Good. So about the income, they were affecting my income, and by having the videos up, who's going to hire the girl from Slime Prank Goes Wrong, Family Goes Crazy at Chipotle, or whatever shit? Like, they aren't necessarily going to know it's all staged for children's entertainment, so they might just think I'm rude, childish, and angry. Again, a lot of people will roll their eyes like, nah, it's not that big of a deal. But it is that big of a deal. It really is. It really is. And if the kid thinks it's a big deal, it's a big deal. Honor the child. And also about the memories, I'm sure everyone still remembers things. I don't need a staged dumb skit to remember my family. Amen. This is an excuse that so many family vloggers use. I'm just documenting our life for document's sake. Are you? Are you documenting going to Disney 15 times a year? Just documenting it? Documenting slime pranks? Documenting your daughters shaving their legs? Going bra shopping? Documenting it for memories? Are you kidding me? Stop using this excuse. Stop saying it. And if you're going to document it, you can make those videos private. Document it and make it private. You can watch it later. That excuse will never hold water. Ever. So stop effing saying it. You're dumb and we hate you. My parents were still really mad and took away my tech access and are trying to get YouTube to recover the videos, but I don't think they're able to. They're not able to. Am I the asshole for sneaking by my parents' back and deleting my family vlog? Well, we all know the answer to this. A big resounding no. I'm actually proud of you. I'm glad you did this. And I'm glad you had the opportunity to do that, because I think a lot of what's going to happen in the future is when parents are going to refuse to do these types of things, kids are going to end up having to sue their parents to take this down. They're going to have to having to sue YouTube to take it down, suing other people, because all these articles and all these videos out there about all these kids you did not get their consent. Just because you had their parents' consent doesn't mean it's going to be okay when they're older. There's going to be massive amounts of lawsuits when we're older for kids suing platforms and parents alike. Okay? YouTube and all these TikTok and Instagram and everything, they don't give a shit about kids. They don't care until they care, until it really matters, until it affects their bottom line. That's all that's going to matter. And I can't wait for the day. Can't wait for the day that there's protections. A couple of things this stuff has all been kind of sitting, waiting for me to do a video on all these articles and Reddits. But this was TechCrunch about a month ago. At just 17, Chris McCarthy is taking matters into their own hands to protect children from being exploited for cash in family vlogs. As part of their project for the Girl Scouts Gold Award, the highest honor in the program, the Seattle teenager spent months researching child influencers, kids who rake in serious cash for their appearances in YouTube vlogs, which are often run by their parents. They were so fascinated and appalled by the lack of regulation around child labor and social media that they utilized their high school senior independent study program to phone bank their neighbors to gauge community interest in the issue. This kid is a baller. In January, McCarty cold emailed a number of local lawmakers, including Washington State Representative Emily Wicks, who serves on the Children, Youth, and Families Committee. McCarthy presented their research, convincing the representative why she should work with a teenager to draft a new bill at the very end of legislative session. Amazing. This is a 17-year-old kid. There's hope, people. There's hope. I randomly got an email from Chris, they said. Here's the problem, and here's the potential solution, Wicks told TechCrunch. I really wanted to provide the opportunity to help them understand exactly how the legislative process works, no matter how far we're able to get with the bill. It's really difficult to pass bills like this, okay? It's really, really difficult because no one seems to give a shit in politics. Because it's very low on the totem pole of politics right now, of priorities. Considering there's no effing baby formula, you got no food, there's no medicine, everything's going wrong. In the world of politics right now, and I can't even blame politicians, this shit doesn't matter. With a 20-year age difference, McCarty and Wicks have distinctly different experiences when it comes to growing up on social media, but they work together to propose House Bill 2023. Children are generating interest in and revenue for the content, but receive no financial compensation for their participation. Here's the thing, they might be receiving it, but there's no guarantee, and something could happen, and that money will be the first thing that's gone from their coffers. The bill about family vlogs reads, unlike in child acting, these children are not playing a part and lack legal protections. Amen. If passed in the Washington State Legislature, the bill would apply to content that generates at least 10 cents per view and has an individual minor featured over 30% of the time. In that case, a percentage of the family vlog's income would be set aside in trust to be given to the child when they turn 18. That's Coogan. That time, the individual would also request that the content they appear in be removed from the platform. Boom. Love it. The bill was introduced late in the legislative session, so it has not yet been heard on the House floor. I'm actually not running for re-election, but I want to hand this bill to the right people to continue working on this. And it says, goes on to say, the problem with family vlogging. It's from TechCrunch, everybody. Life was good for Micah Stauffer. A family vlogger who amassed a combined 1 million YouTube subscribers across 2 channels. She rose to prominence after producing a series of 27 videos that chronicled her family's journey as they went through emotionally arduous process of adopting a child from China. Stauffer was swimming in sponsorships from brands like Glossier, Fabletics. She was high profile enough that People magazine announced the birth of their next son, Onyx. Micah Stauffer changed the game for family vlogging. So we can thank Micah Stauffer. Thank you, Micah Stauffer. Thank you. And we'll do that in honor of Micah Stauffer. We will show the spaghetti legs dance. But in 2020, 3 years later, after the adoption of 5-year-old H, fans realized that he suddenly no longer appeared in any of the videos. At their audience urging, Stauffer and her husband revealed that they had rehomed H because they felt that they couldn't properly take care of a child with autism. Was this just a couple in over their head, helping a child secure caretakers that could better nurture him, or did they build their fame and riches off the story of an oblivious toddler? Yes, that one. Making his life story public to millions of viewers, only to discard him when things became too hard. Yup. Amen. And who doesn't care? James doesn't care. James Stauffer says he doesn't regret it. Not 1 minute of it. Of course he doesn't. They made millions. McCarty became interested in the ethics of family vlogging when they learned about H's story. Same. So many people became interested in this because of what Micah did. Isn't that crazy? So all the family vlogging sphere hates Micah. Not just people who hate Micah. If Micah Stauffer is doing it, there are probably a lot of other families doing it too. Yes, they are. Lots of them. These children often are not old enough to even understand what's going on, much less fully consent to it. I agree. Amazing. Over a decade later, some of YouTube's biggest stars are children who are too young to understand the life-changing responsibility of being an internet celebrity with millions of subscribers. Yep. The kids aren't earning the money, everybody. The parents are taking the money. The kids don't get anything. There are no Coogan laws to protect children on YouTube. Those parents do not have to give their kids anything. No laws. Just days ago, the controversial longtime YouTuber Trisha Paytas rebranded their channel to the Paytas Hackman Family Channel, which documents the lives of Trish Moses and baby Paytas Hackman coming in 2022. Already, Paytas has posted their family vlog about ultrasounds, maternity clothing, and what they eat while pregnant. I thought this was a funny meme. A family vlogging channel starter pack. I love my kids slashed out money milking peasants. Record your kids, exploit them, cross all boundaries, profit. Have 1 kid and expand to 5 for max exploitation. Very important. They have their kids, throwing them in the garbage with money. Shit, my son is now a teen. Time to have 3 more kids to replace him. And then there's this one, which is never a true word spoken. Bethany has breakdown. Merch in the description. I know it's funny, but it's not funny.
In the United States, it's widely legal to take a picture or video of someone and post it online without their consent, including children. But in Germany, while you can take all the pictures and video you want, you can't post it online without consent. And
boom! Germany! Let's be Germany.
Because the age of consent in Germany is 14, this gives children a lot more say over their social media presence. And yes, parents in Germany can post pictures of their children under 14 without their permission, but there are also laws in Germany that prevent you from sharing things online that could hurt a person's dignity. And this has sparked a lot of
I need to stop that. Dignity. It's a big one. And it's not one I talk about a lot unless it comes to, kids like Abby from Fathering Autism and things like that. The dignity that's taken away from them because they'll never have the option to say no. That is a big thing we're talking about here. Dignity is a big thing that none of us ever speak about. Dignity. The dignity of our children's privacy. Putting things out there that they don't want anybody to see. Imagine that our lives are put on like we see kids right now. That's not fair.
Discussion in Germany about the potential for children to grow up and maybe later sue their parents for harming their dignity as a child.
Yep.
This is a pretty sharp contrast to the United States, where over 90% of 2-year-olds already have a social media presence. And culturally, it's a lot different. In 2015, police released a campaign asking parents to just stop posting pictures of their kids online.
That was 7, almost 8 years ago, everybody. This is almost 8 years ago.
This has influenced me to move a lot of my public pictures to friends only.
The saddest part about where we are right now, politically, societally, and everything else, is that this is so low in the totem pole that it's never going to get the attention it deserves until something happens, like I've said a million times. Like the Ava Madger case and all that kind of stuff. That sucks. It also needs to be said that social media platforms don't care. They don't care, or they would have made the changes already. The writing is on the wall all over the world. There's legislation being made in, I think, Italy, in Germany, in many places all over the world. Okay? Except the USA knows. These people that do this, but the issue here is that our politicians just don't care. And it's really weird because the ones that you think should care, the ones who are the most woke, quote unquote, and I say that in a good light at this point, at the point of being woke, that you're like very in tune with social issues and everything else and the dangers and all that kind of stuff. Like California, okay? And Gavin Newsom, someone who's like very, very accepting of everybody's life and wants to be the very, super, super liberal and everything else and all that case, bring everybody in, let everybody live their life, all that. I get that, right? Except when it comes to the protection of children. Why is the protection of children considered like right wing? That seems ridiculous. That should be bipartisan, if anything is bipartisan. But I did an interview with Landon Starbuck, and she is the wife of Robbie Starbuck, who is running for Congress, I think in Tennessee. I could be wrong about that. I had Robbie on before. We talked about the Cuties debacle with Netflix. And he used to make music videos. He's been in the industry. He knows how it works. He knows how Coogan laws work. We had a really great conversation. Interesting. Go check out that video. But it's funny because Landon came up on my timeline talking about how Gavin Newsom is taking away the funding for taking away the funding for the law enforcement that investigates exploitation of children. And so here's that interview. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you what you do.
Hey, thanks, Josh, for having me on your podcast. Well, I'm Landon Starbuck. I left the exploitive entertainment industry as a Billboard charting musician and got called into this work of helping children advocate against sex trafficking, but really all forms of child exploitation. That is my narrow focus. And recently I started my own nonprofit that has the resources now to help educate and have actual activism to counter a lot of the stuff that's happening at such a rapid pace now. So we tackle a lot of the issues that a lot of other organizations that advocate for children maybe are unwilling or afraid to tackle because they might be politically, controversial or whatnot, things like the border, things like that. So, that's what we focus on. And we're a volunteer-based organization. I don't take a salary. Nobody does. We just do everything we can to make a difference.
Okay, so let's get to this whole thing going on in California, because in my world, where it comes to child exploitation, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of these families specifically in California. And I don't know if you know this or not, but there's no laws in place to protect children who are on YouTube channels. There's no Coogan law that protects them. They're not actors. So even if they were actors, you don't know anything about the personal life that they're actors. These kids, you know everything about. You know that if you go into their profiles, you'll see adult men commenting on little girls' profiles on Instagram with rude comments, with sexual comments and all this kind of stuff. All this, there is a lot of these kids are targeted. They don't even know they're targeted because the parents might often not know. So what has happened in California that might shift this negatively?
Okay, so this is really alarming. I mean, it's so unbelievable. But Gavin Newsom, the dictator of California, has basically removed all funding, even though that official, budget hasn't been released to the public. Law enforcement, people on the internal side fighting this understand, they've seen it. He's removed funding for ICAC. That's Internet Crimes Against Children. This is the special, division of police that fight these issues, these internet crimes against children, from what you're talking about, that base exploitation where the parents are exploiting them for entertainment purposes or, whatnot, on all the way up to selling kids, trafficking them on these social media platforms. And so if they remove ICAC, if he removes ICAC funding, that's like calling 911 and nobody answering. Can you imagine if that was your child that was being exploited and you call for help and nobody answers the phone? That is what is going to happen in California. And California just so happens to be one of the leading states for trafficking and exploitation. It's
Hollywood. Hollywood in general is in California. Right. So we know even on that level, and I know that a lot of these families and a lot of these people are there taking advantage of these loose laws in California or none whatsoever. But what is his reasoning to remove this funding?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, nobody at my organization could get in touch with him or anybody close to him. There's a lot of misinformation. They're sending a lot of their minions to my threads and other people that have been spreading this, other influencers, saying, oh, that's not true, because they know that because it hasn't been released to the public, that they can kind of get away with those lies. But I know, because I'm in contact with police departments in California. I have verified this. They will verify it. You can call them up. This is something that most of the public doesn't know. And even if they did, PR statements and things like that, people just don't know what to do. And so that's why I put out that call to call his office, because here's the thing. Everybody wants to give up, right? With the Elon Musk thing. I made this plea to Elon Musk. People saying, oh, he's part of the, elites. He's not going to do anything. We have to try. These are children. There is no one advocating. We have to try. And you know what? If enough of us showed up at their door, if enough of us put pressure on them, they might do something differently. But if we do nothing, nothing is going to change.
So what has ICAC done in the past? What are we what are we losing? What's California losing with ICAC?
Well, okay, so I mean, like I said, there's going to be very limited, if not no resources to address child exploitation online, child trafficking online. And that itself is an epidemic. We're talking 29.3 million reports of suspected child sexual exploitation, sexual extortion, all of these things targeting children reported to NCMEC. Again, people can go to the website. This is an epidemic, and the mainstream media won't even use that phrase. And if this were a virus, right, we have all the resources in the world. Oh my gosh, children are being exploited, but they don't care. This is not a priority for them. And if we chip away at things like ICAC, that number will skyrocket. It will be out of control even more than it already is. And like you mentioned, there's very little we can do because they're protected by Section 230, which is why, I advocate for the Earn It Act. It's a base level bipartisan piece of legislation. It's basically all we have to hold them accountable, so that if that is your child, anybody's child, they can sue these platforms for refusing to act and remove that exploitation material.
And that's what I've been saying too. And until 230 is removed, all of these kids that are coming off these channels who might have their privacy stolen, they might have been trafficked, they might have been abused, they might have had for any reason. None of those kids have recourses against the platforms, only against their parents, which they might do. But if 230 is removed, you're going to see a massive shift in the way that this, especially with children. I think I just did a video a couple of days ago talking about this little girl who's like an elite level athlete. She's 5. She's in pageants and she's an athlete. She looks like she has the body of like a man. She's like an 8-pack, and there's no way this child lives a normal life, right? And these kids are being put out there. The parents say with consent. I don't agree, because kids can't give informed consent. It's the way it is. But if 230 is removed, first thing you're going to see is all these parent-run accounts of children gone, because the first place that people are going to start suing is based on the child protections, because these platforms don't care, because the platforms make billions of dollars off children as well. And I don't necessarily think it's off like the deep, seedy, dark web, trafficking of children. I think it's the honest to God, what you can see with your own eyeballs for free that these parents serve up on a silver platter. I think that's going to be a big move unless lawmakers change the rules like Coogan laws for kids in Hollywood.
Right. I mean, and people don't recognize like the difference. Child labor laws should extend into entertainment. They should extend even, if a parent is exploiting their child, on social media, things of that sort. There are essentially no protections in place for kids. And that's why this work is so important, because we're so far behind. And if politicians in America were going to act on this, they should have acted on it at that first, million kid that have been exploited. We're at 29.3 million. If they don't see a problem, what makes now different?
You're the first I've ever heard of it. And I think a lot of people watching now, first they've ever heard of this. If you are against the exploitation of children, this is a big deal.
Absolutely. And politicians, I see it all the time. They can be moved when they see that people are pushing back. They're scared of losing their power. Yes. That's how their wheels run. So you make them scared to lose their power by putting pressure and acting. That's what we can all do. I
think in closing, I think we can both agree this is the year of the parents' uprising. You're going to see November. Whatever happens, it's going to be about the parents, not even about gas prices, not about all this crap going on, not even inflation. It's going to be parents that are going to sway everything. the parents are taking back their power. I think it's happening here and there, and it's going to be interesting to see for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, Landon. Well, thanks for coming on. Let's stay in touch. If anything comes, just message me right away. We'll try to get you on and we'll figure it out.
Sounds great. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
So thanks, Landon, for coming on. I know this is a bit of a long video, but this is a really, really interesting world that we live in about like what is going on in the world. Why, like, kids are growing up and saying, I don't want to be on this anymore. Parents are saying, F you. Kids are going to start suing their parents. Why is the US so far behind? And Canada too, both of us. I consider us kind of the same because our politics are very similar. Our lifestyles and the way our society were very, very, very similar. So I just kind of clump it together. But why is the protection of kids always like the last thing on everybody's mind? It's killing us. Our kids more than ever need our protection, more than they've ever needed our protection before. So regardless of your politics, Republican, Democrat, hardcore left, hardcore right, right in the middle, libertarian, whatever, I think one thing we can all agree on is that the exploitation of children needs to stop. It's the most bipartisan thing that everybody can agree on. Like, are there people honestly out there saying, no, I don't agree with you that we should protect kids more? Who would honestly say that? Except the people in power don't want to. And we need to ask why. Why the technocrats and oligarchs and all the rich people and all the politicians, why do they not care about this? Why are they defunding this? That's a question, right? Kids, as far as time is concerned, kids have always been the least with the voice and always been the most victimized and have never been able to speak out. And it's way worse than we ever thought. It's not just family vlogging, everybody. There's so much more behind the scenes in the dark web and underneath the ground and underground that we'll never ever see. This is just one of those things that we could fix. The most simple vanilla exploitation of children, okay? They don't even want to look at it. They don't even want to touch it. They don't even want to skim the surface of protecting children. Why not? You got to ask that question. We got to start voting people in who care. That's how this gets solved. Vote in people who care about children. Take a deep breath. It's even scary to talk about this stuff because you know you're going to get demonetized or taken out of the algorithm for talking about this stuff because, again, big tech, big business, billionaires, and politicians alike run the shit. It's almost so sad to feel this powerless. Don't forget, guys, you are valuable and you are very, very worthy. We can affect change, especially with our vote. So make sure you are voting if you care about this world. There's a lot of stuff to care about. But it's time to start asking politicians, what is their stance on child exploitation? Be very, very revealing. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.